Hello, my name's Jo. This is Joey Sewy, and today I'm going to tell you all about why I am so much better at sewing than you. Hi, today I'm going to show you about 50 million makes, and I'm going to tell you about 75 other things that I'm going to make in the next 30 days. You should probably start feeling guilty now because you're watching this rather than sewing, and that probably does make you a bad person. I've spent a small fortune on beautiful fabrics that either you can't afford or are somehow otherwise unavailable to you, and so that definitely means that anything that you make is never going to be as beautiful as mine. If you can find the fabric, you should buy it right this instant, regardless of cost, to have any hope of ever sewing anything good again. And I'm also going to buy 5 new patterns this month, at least, maybe 6, maybe 7, can't quite tell, at least £10 each. And they're going to fit me first time, easy, no problem, out of the packet. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I love to sew every day. I don't have any other responsibilities, so I have all the time in the world. I can just sew. But sometimes my life is terribly important and responsible, and I'm busy with my high-powered job, but I still find time to come home to my perfect home and my perfect children and do some perfect sewing. Okay, I hope you're shouting at the screen right now or thinking I've been abducted by aliens, because every single word I just said is complete rubbish. And I know you know it is, but have you ever felt like that watching YouTube or looking at Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or your social media of choice, or even, I hope not, but even meeting other sewers in real life? I am here on my soapbox today, being a bit silly about it, to say, just don't. Just don't. You need to do you. Just because people stand on YouTube and show you lots of things that they've made doesn't make them any better than you, including me, especially including me. I'm no better than you. I'm just a person who stands in their house talking at a camera on their own and telling you about the things that I sew. It doesn't make me a superhero, and it doesn't make me better than anybody else. I just like sharing my journey. But I know from my own experience, and I know from comments that people give me generously on my channel, that it is really easy to get overwhelmed with comparison syndrome on social media. And I'd just like us all to stop. Let's stop and be ourselves. So I'm going to bust some myths. Okay, I'm on YouTube, so that makes me an authority. No, I'm on YouTube because I have a camera that can film me and I have a computer that can upload it, and somehow I find the time to chat to you. It doesn't mean that I know everything, and anybody who tells you they know everything is lying. I should say, I'm not intending to do a parody of any individual YouTuber. I don't think anybody out there sits down and deliberately thinks any of the things I just said. I amplified it all to make the point. But it is easy to get overwhelmed in comparison syndrome, as I said, when you look at other people. But we are just other people. Nothing special, just other people sharing their stories, and you are one of other people as well. So number 2, you've got to make all the things. Maybe other people sew more than you. Maybe other people sew less than you. Does it matter? No. You sew how much you want to sew. End of story. Someone might sew 15 things. Maybe their house burnt down and they need 15 things. Someone might sew 1 thing every 2 months, every 3 months, every year. If you get joy from sewing, then it's enough. If you get joy from sewing, then it's enough. Myth number 3. Everything always goes right. Here's a controversial one. If a YouTuber isn't sharing their mistakes with you, do you want to follow them? Maybe you do. But for me, keeping it real, you want to see the real stuff, don't you? And as a sewer here on my own in my house, I learn more when I make a mistake than when everything goes right. I feel better when everything goes right, but I learn more when I make a mistake. So mistakes are there for a reason. They're there because maybe we didn't know how to do something, or maybe we were trying to work too fast, or maybe we were stretching our skills, or maybe we were too tired, or maybe we were a human being. And all those reasons are fine. Number 4, no one talks about this. I've got loads of money to spend on my sewing. That's not a statement of fact. That's a feeling you can get from other people. We've all got different budgets. I don't spend anywhere near as much on my sewing as I would if I went out and bought the clothes. Definitely not. But I'm living in the Western world. I am fairly affluent. I don't have to worry about money. And oh my goodness, I'm grateful for that. I really am. But you don't have to buy the stuff that other people have. Just work with what you can work with. If all you've got is a bed sheet and you want to practice, great. Sewers are generous people. I bet you if you look, you could find free fabric. You don't need to spend as much as other people. On the other hand, if you live a lucky life and you have plenty of money to spend on beautiful fabric, then do that too. Because beautiful fabric will last you a lifetime. So, money is not a subject that people like to talk about, but in talking about fabric hauls and in talking about gadgets and in talking about machines, I mean, how expensive are sewing machines? This is not a cheap hobby. It's also not, in my opinion, a super expensive hobby, but there is a real entry threshold, and then there's an ongoing cost that we have to bear to buy the materials for our craft. But don't worry about what other people are spending. Spend what you can afford. Don't push yourself past what you can afford, because it will just bring guilt into your pleasure time, and you don't want that. 5. None of this stuff is any effort for me. I get up every morning and whistling a happy tune and I sew away. I never lose my motivation. I never cry over my sewing, and it's all effortless. And I bet you it's not like that for everybody else on this YouTube universe either. Some days, some weeks, I don't want to sew. I've done What Have I Been Sewing videos where I haven't had anything finished and where I've barely touched a sewing machine in the month. Doesn't matter if you don't want to sew. It's okay. Is that the most controversial thing I've ever said? But it is. Sometimes of our lives, there's too much else going on. And sometimes in our lives, we are sewing like a demon, and anything else in between is fine too. Again, you don't live by my rules. You don't live by other YouTubers' rules. You live by your rules in your life at this time. That's all that matters. Link to number 5 and number 6, which is I never get bored or jaded with my sewing. Yeah, I do. I sometimes get bored of sewing. It is kind of my forever craft. It is going to be something that I'm going to do for my whole life. I know I will. I'll definitely be taking my sewing machine to my nursing home in many decades from now. But at the same time, there are times when I think, don't want to sew. So I'll knit instead, or so I'll do something else instead. Or maybe sometimes I even do, what's that thing? Nothing. Maybe sometimes I'll even do nothing. And it's fine, because I do sometimes get bored of sewing, and I do sometimes have no motivation to sew. And I'm talking to myself as much as you now, but that's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up for it, and it doesn't make you a bad person. And lastly, number 7. I can sew all day with no responsibilities, and life is free, and you can't possibly do that. You can't possibly be a good sewer if you don't have that freedom. Everybody's got a life around them. Some people are single and have no or very few responsibilities, and some people have massive families and caring responsibilities and jobs, and you know, we've all got different lives. We all live a rich tapestry of life. You just fit your sewing in where you can fit your sewing in if you want to do the sewing. And it doesn't matter if there's somebody out there who you're watching on YouTube who seems to have all the hours in the day. Don't wish to be in their lives. You have your life. You can find the time in your life for your sewing. You don't need to project yourself outside into somebody else's life. Your life is good enough. And I'm sure that you can find those moments for yourself. I really hope you can. So I hope you get what I'm trying to do with this, and I hope you stuck through my incredibly sarcastic beginning. because I just felt like I wanted to say these things. I get loads of beautiful comments from you guys and I appreciate them so much. And I'm very inspired by some other people that are on YouTube and Instagram, but I too can fall down the comparison rabbit hole. I can get caught in that trap and I can think, oh, is my channel good enough? Is my sewing good enough? Should I be sharing this? Is this boring? Blah, 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 blah. And every now and again, I just need to stand to the side and give myself a talking to and say, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to be me. You do you, and I will do me. And that will make the world a wonderful sewing place. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already and you would like some more of this kind of stuff, then please subscribe. If you want to watch something else on my channel, you can click here and there'll be a subscribe button just here. Bye for now.